I hear that you're starting The Voice next week. Is this accurate?
Yeah, The Voice goes on TV next week, March 6th.
Yeah.
Like that, I think. Yeah, all the auditions start, so it's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to see a lot of my face.
I know that you've been very honest about, like, you know, if Katy Perry didn't overrule Simon when you were on X Factor, that you might not be here today. Does that play into your mind when you're coaching? I mean, you've got these kids, like, careers, like, you know, or futures in your hands a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's horrible. It's that's the great thing about The Voice is the whole unknown, press the button, you know, all that. You start accumulating a bit of a team, and then it's just the decision making after that is just horrific. You've got like two incredible singers stood there, and you have to say, you're staying, you're going. It's just not. It's not very nice, especially having been on the other side when you know exactly what it is. Yeah,
that's what I was going to ask. Is being on the judges' table now, like you think back about your experience. What was like? Oh God, I did that.
Yeah, no, there's. I've been there. I know exactly how it feels to look at someone who's got my future in their hands.
Yeah, wow.
So I'm standing there with that power, and I think the biggest takeaway though is a lot of these people are like 18, 19. It's like at that time you think, oh my God, it's over for me. I'll never do it. But I'm always telling them, like, this, just because it didn't work on this particular show doesn't mean that it's like the end of the road.
In the previews for this season of The Voice, you do a pretty amazing Blake Shelton. You get the Blake impression in there. Is there any other celebrity impressions you can do that we might know?
Oh God, it's more accents I can do than impressions. I'm not sure if even that's a good. Chance told me the other day that I sound like Forrest Gump when I do when I do Blake Shelton. Probably do. It's more the accent than it is the person.
You know, sometimes when we talk to Louis Capaldi, we want you to come as a translator because sometimes we go, what did he say, Ryan?
He'll get used to it. You know, that's what I learned coming here. I was just talking to Mikey Piff. I came here 11 years ago for the first time and like doing interviews, and everyone in the room would just be looking at me like I had 10 heads because I was speaking a different language. Over the years, I've learned to, I don't think my accent's changed, but I've definitely like slowed down.
Yeah.
Even the way I just said that, slowed down. that would have been just a lot. Slow down.
We were just laughing about like how it's very hard to understand Louis Capaldi sometimes and his accent. And you said, you know, over the years you've gotten kind of used to people, you know, needing you to slow down a little bit. I went out, maybe a couple months ago with a friend of mine who is from Donegal.
Right.
And she's good. I can understand what she's saying until a certain amount of drinks, and then I'm like, you know what? That's a wrap. Do you find that when you are hanging out with Louis, like you can understand him, but after a good amount of beers, I would assume even for you it gets difficult?
I think, no, to be honest, it's the Celtic thing. Like when we're together and we're drinking, it's the two of us go back to our normal pace. Like, and I can understand every word he says. He can understand me, but I can see everyone else going, what is going on here? This sounds like lunacy.
Well, you said that you had to slow down with Louis because the hangovers are real. What is it get you to that point? What do you guys, is it shots? Is it just too long?
It's just too much too long. We're big daytime drinkers.
Yes.
And that's what it just kind of, it gets to us after a while. But yeah, I'm getting to that age though.
Can't do it like you used to.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah. I thought that was a myth.
No,
it's not.
Yeah, it's real.
If you're 25 now, get ready.
So, you know, Louis
got 5 more years.
Louis Capaldi is actually on tour right now, as you know. You're his good friend. He was in Berlin, and he spotted in the audience, I don't know if you saw this, it's all over TikTok, he spotted somebody with a cardboard cutout of you, and it said, you cheater. Do you feel as though Louis cheated on you when he kissed Harry?
It's tough. It's been a tough week.
Hard.
It's been a tough couple of weeks. I'm joking. I know, we're just having a laugh at him. We just go at each other all the time, just winding each other up. He then tried to call me. He called and I missed it because I was asleep because I was in America. And then he sent me a video of the whole crowd shouting, 20,000 people shouting, "F*** Niall."
So Louis
counts them down, and the whole place just goes,
I know people got really excited because they thought we might be getting music from you and Louis, but that's probably not going to happen. No. But how often does it that you work on something with somebody that we would get so excited about and we just never hear about it or never know? It happens all the time, right?
Yeah, no, I kind of... It's a weird one because you start making your you start making your music,
Right.
and then it's just if it happens or not. Like, unless you stick time aside to do that, but you also want to get the bulk of your record made too.
Right.
So you're not thinking about collaborations for a long time, and then before you know it, you've got an album's worth, and it's kind of too late in a way. But
Right.
Not that often. The only times I've ever done it is with Anne-Marie, and we did that because it was pandemic time and I wasn't even making a record. It was like, do you want to write some songs?
Yeah.
Right.
So we wrote a couple, and then Lewis, I wrote one with him a while ago.
Right.
But it's just, if it was good enough, we would have released it, put it that way.
Okay. Now listen, you got this show coming out. I believe it's in June.
Yeah.
Right. Give us a little sneak peek. What can we expect from the album?
I personally think it's my best stuff yet.
Okay.
For sure. And I think Heaven is a good taster for that. Like, sound wise, I wanted the sound to match what I was saying, and it's just become a little bit more mature. And then the rest of the record is kind of, Heaven's a good taster. The rest of the record, there's different sounds in there, but they all, I know this is a stupid thing to say, but they all sound like they're from the same record and not from loads of instead of like loads of different records and just.
So is it safe to say you experimented with some new sounds for this record?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
We got
because we hear that in Heaven.
Yeah,
it's a little bit different. Yes,
exactly.
Yeah,
No,
sure.
it's definitely a newer vibe. There's no doubt. But it still sounds like me in the maddest way. Everyone was like, Heaven is different, but it still sounds like you.
Which is
good.
good.
Yeah, which is a great thing.
Yeah.
I wanted like my ballads to be a bit moodier and a bit stranger sounding. And then I wanted to try different things in the up tempo. There's a lot of like synth stuff in there, and BVs, like background vocals, were a big thing for me. I wanted to make them as much in the production as like the guitar is. I wanted to make
tight
them
as
a thing.
possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I did days and days and stacks of harmonies and stuff like that to make them as part of the song too.
Nice.
Like you hear on the start of Heaven or whatever.
You did your own background vocals? Did you do?
Yeah.
Wow.
It took me a very long time. Probably like a day for each song, just to get it all tight and right. And the girl I write with a lot, Amy Allen, she helped me a lot. She was brilliant.
Nice.